Alright, so we're back with another video, and today we're talking about a lens. And the lens we are talking about is the Viltrox 14mm f4 lens. Let's give a little bit of background. Firstly, I am not sponsored by Viltrox for this lens. I bought this with my own money. They didn't send it to me, and they're not going to see this video anyways. But, you know, Viltrox, if you do want to sponsor me, you know what to do. So obviously I spent my own money on this lens. I think that also makes this video a lot more truthful to how good this lens is. This lens came out in 2025, September. I was looking for an ultra wide lens. I have the Sony 24-50 zoom lens, but 24 is a bit tight when you're vlogging, and I think sometimes I would want a wider focal length. I looked at a bunch of different lenses, but I settled on the Viltrox 14mm lens, and you're probably asking why. I'd say the main reason why I chose the Viltrox is price. Let's be honest, I'm not made of money. I buy too many cameras, so yeah, I have to be sensible sometimes. And yeah, the price of the Viltrox 14mm is ridiculously good because I bought it for about £190, but if you're watching it right now and it's Prime Day for you, you can get it for £160, which is great value. It's unbelievable value. You are not going to find a wide angle for this price, or even close to it. I think they're like roughly double the price. Because the lens is so cheap, I don't mind being a little bit rough with it. I don't mind if it gets scratched up. I don't mind if it, gets dropped or, whatever. Obviously, I mean, I probably would mind if it gets dropped, but you get my point. It's not going to be the end of the world if I break it because I can just buy another one. That's one really good thing about a lens like this. I think sometimes they say you marry your lenses, and if you buy a more expensive lens, it means that you kind of are committed to it. Whereas a lens like this, you don't really care. You can do a lot of testing with it. You can mess around with it a lot more, which is, I think, super ideal and really good for someone who's trying to test different lenses, and that was a big reason why I was drawn to this lens specifically. This is a 14mm, which is ridiculously wide. So if we're talking image quality and we're talking focal length, you can see some of the samples. In terms of vlogging with it, it is going to get a lot of the background. So, you can get your face in. It's going to give your face a bit of a slimming, kind of look. Image quality wise, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like Sony level. It's not razor sharp or anything. In terms of autofocus, maybe not as good as a Sony autofocus, but still good enough. I never really noticed it hunting or being out of focus. And because I paired it with the ZV-E1 and A75, it is gonna be great in terms of autofocus, and Viltrox usually don't lack with it. In terms of the ergonomics of it, now, it hasn't got aperture control, so you have to manually do it on your camera, which, I would prefer if I had that, but, for the price that it is, you can't have everything, of course. In terms of what Viltrox send you, they send you a little lens hood, they send you obviously the lens cap. It's got a USB-C port, so you can update the lens as well, which is really handy because obviously they are going to do updates for it. And then finally, it's a 58mm filter thread. Yeah, it's really small, compact, and in terms of the weight of it, I think it's about 220 grams, 250 grams. So when you pair that with the smaller Sony cameras, you are getting a really, really effective and small, compact vlogging setup. If you're using it with the A7C, if you're using it with the ZV-E1 like I am using it. And that actually leads me to another point. Now, if you know ball basically, and you have also got a ZV-E1 just like I have, then you are in a situation where with a lens like this attached to it, you can zoom in, or you can optically zoom in. That is also then making the 14mm a sort of like 20mm, 21mm equivalent, which is really cool. I think that's one thing I love about the ZV-E1, that you can zoom into the level that you'd want it to. In terms of size of this lens, it is super small. When you put it on like a smaller camera, you are gonna get a super light, compact rig. If you put a mic on it as well, like I've done, yeah, you're cooking, man. Honestly, you're cooking. The main negative of this lens is obviously the f4. Now, the f4 means that basically in low light, you are kind of screwed. I think f4 is not bad on full frames. You still can get decent light with it, so don't be afraid to bump up the ISO and have a little bit of grain. It's not the end of the world. I do think for professional use, It might struggle in like low light settings. You probably wouldn't use it for like nighttime photography and nighttime videography. But yeah, if it's like super light outside and it's bright days and sunny and in the morning and in the afternoon and even in sunset time, I think this lens is more than capable of shooting them. Obviously, I've already mentioned before, but the Sony ZV-E one that I, pair it with is incredible because it kind of counters the negative of this lens, which is the f4. The ZV-E one has a second base ISO of 12,800, which means that I can bump it up to the 12,800, have minimal grain, and then have this at f4 and record at nighttime completely fine. If you are in a privileged position like I am, and you've got the ZV-E one, and then you also buy this lens, yeah, you're cooking, because you are going to be able to record in low light, you're going to be able to record in no light basically, and you're gonna be able to record in lots of light. So I think you're kind of covered on all bases with the ZV-E one and a lens like this. So yeah. In terms of filmmaking, I really enjoyed vlogging with it. I've showed you loads of samples of the footage I got with it. I really liked how wide the lens was and how it was focusing on me, kept focus on me, and it did give me a little bit of background separation as well when I needed it to. I don't see why you wouldn't go for this lens unless you've already got an ultra wide that is much better in low light, which is like an f1.6 or a 1.8 f-stop. But I think in terms of cheap lenses, this Viltrox is not going to be beaten. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe. Obviously, I'm going to do way more videos. I've got other lenses, other cameras that I've got in mind. And if you enjoy those, let me know. And let me know what you think about this lens as well. If you've got it yourself, if you're thinking to buy it, yeah. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, in a bit.